Thank you, Madam Chair. My Republican colleagues say that they're pro-life, yet for nearly 3 decades, they've obstructed any kind of meaningful action to save lives. And where were these so-called pro-life politicians when children were being shot and killed at school? Where were they after Sandy Hook? Where were they after Stoneman Douglas High School? Where were they after Uvalde? They were oftentimes not siding with the children and the victims, they were siding with the killers, and they were siding with the gun manufacturers, often voting to try to give blanket immunity to these manufacturers and block renewal of any assault weapons ban. And as a result, deaths by gun violence nearly tripled. Let that sink in. And my Republican colleagues claim to be the party of individual freedom and the protectors of individual freedom when it comes to gun rights, yet not when it comes to abortion, same-sex marriage, contraception, or other individual rights. All of a sudden, it becomes a state rights issue. And even when you look at when they claim to be about states' rights, they don't live up to that when it comes to guns. You know, they oppose any kind of regulation at the state level or at the local level. And when they say we can't impose any kind of restrictions on background checks, on requiring individuals to lock up their guns, to have trigger locks, then they say we can't do anything to hold gun manufacturers accountable. Pretty much giving us no way to reduce gun deaths in this country, except by their idea of everybody should have a gun, and that's how you reduce gun violence in this country. We have done it before. When it came to automobiles, when it came to cars, when all of a sudden you see car accidents soared, Congress and states enacted life-saving safety measures requiring seatbelts, airbags, anti-lock brakes in new vehicles. And what did you see? Car accident deaths decreased dramatically while gun deaths soared. These gun makers before us today and Republicans have done worse than nothing in response. They actually help add fuel to the fire by advertising guns, AR-15s, and other weapons to white supremacists and children. You know, this is what we're dealing with. Mr. Daniels, you have told my colleagues earlier today that you oppose federal regulation on gun safety and see gun violence as an issue to be solved locally. So does that mean you support state laws like those passed in California that ban marketing guns to children and allow residents to sue those who violate state safety standards, produce and sell weapons of war?
Sir, children can't buy guns, and I was speaking to the local community taking responsibility of all the people who are involved.
So that's a no. So you basically believe that guns should be marketed towards children?
We market our guns to adults, law-abiding adults for lawful purposes.
So, Mr. Daniel, I'll take back my time. Mr. Bousset, from your experience, if the gun industry thinks their products aren't the cause of gun violence, why have they consistently lobbied to exempt themselves from liability and common sense gun safety regulations? And why have they succeeded, and at what cost when it comes to death and violence?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. I am greatly distressed at the degree to which the firearms industry has funded a powerful political machine that has fought common sense federal gun regulation at every turn that is broadly supported by the American public. These things include universal background checks. They include raising the minimum age on the purchase of long guns to 21, and many other things. And the reason that it has been fought is because cranking up the political pressure in this country is a profitable business model for the NRA and other groups that use this topic as a way to divide our society.
Thank you. Gun violence is being normalized in our country at the expense of children and families. I've had constituents killed. One was killed in Las Vegas in the mass shooting. You know, this is something that we have to fight against, because this isn't normal. It's not okay, right? Where we have to be in fear of our lives for our friends and families if they go to church, school, a parade. This is something that is not reasonable, and we must
The gentleman's time has
take steps
expired.
to lessen gun violence. Thank you so much. I yield back.